So, I think it's safe to say I wasn't the only one shocked to see the patch notes today. Already a preview for the next class? They have absolutely jumped the queue on this one. Though we don't have a specific date, if we look at the historical trends of when they started teasing, it was usually around 2 weeks. The current patch's time-limited events will be ending next week, but that doesn't necessarily mean they'll be immediately dropping down the next one with no downtime. And this is a good time to remind you, the half-price crafting, Mirabelle Quest experience bonuses, and the XP bonus buffs from Eileen in Navia or Port Scandia will be ending with the next maintenance. And the presents that were sent to your item mall cart? Make sure you take them. Can't leave them in the cart, they will expire and be removed. You can put them in your shared storage without opening them if you don't have the inventory space right now. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about the new class, Stellar Saphir. As you can probably guess from the promotional art, the new class will not be restricted to one character type. In fact, you'll be choosing from any of the 4 types that are now in-game. I'm not a huge fan of gender or body type locked characters, especially since there are barely any cosmetics available for the new male kiddo type, with none of them being free-to-play friendly. So I think this was a great choice. If you have costumes dyed in style and rolled to great stats, you can freely choose to play that gender or body type. Since Our Kingdom already allows you to change your physical appearance at any time between male and female on the non-restricted classes, I hope they will also allow you to change as you like between all 4 on this class as well. I also hear that the recent new class balances on the Taiwan server also unlock the use of all body types on the Guardian and Grenadier classes, so in the future we may see even more classes being completely unlocked. But that's enough about that, let's take a look at the class. So, I'm just going to be talking about the general gist I get from it based off of my good friend Google Translate. I'm not going to go into too much details about the minutiae because, again, we're talking about a language that I don't speak, but the basic information should be correct. To start, the kit seems to be split over physical, dark, and holy for skill elements. Based on the mastery paths being dark and physical, I believe these will be the main choices for most players. But physical as an element is still underdeveloped. There are a lot more ways to buff your dark damage through gear, eidolons, or archives. As a result, the dark element is going to be the best choice for most people, and that would be my recommendation. That also means that Chiyu is a great choice for a starter eidolon. I took a quick peek at the Envoy, and the center tile has the normal bonuses for a melee class, but the skills seem to have pretty impressive AoEs. The class buff is 5% all stats and 5% move speed for 30 minutes, and it's doubled if you're using it as a main. But I'll stop here before I get into too much detail about the classes, because I don't really want to talk about the skills before we have proper translations. Still, what would a new Ori Kingdom class be without a special, unique mechanic? I think the best way to describe Stellar Saphir's unique mechanic would be like 1 part Starcaller and 1 part Whipmaster. You will use your normal skills to build up energy, and then you can use the release skill to activate buffs that will last until the energy is depleted. Like Starcaller, once you use the buff, you will have to wait for it to finish before you can start building up points again. Can't pause it. But like Whip, you don't need to fully charge it to activate. What sets it apart from those two is that you actually get to freely decide what buff you want to use by scrolling between them. Tapping the release skill will swap buffs, and holding the release skill will activate a buff from a choice of 6. It will probably feel similar to the Holy Sword burst mechanic. The buff choices seem to be a nice split of party buffs, support buffs, and healing for your whole party. I think I'll leave it at that for the class details for now. At a glance, it seems the new class will be an AoE offensive class with good party buffing choices. I'm interested where it will fit in. If you're looking for help with prepping on how to speed level the new class, I would recommend checking out my video for the Nunchuck class for a general idea, as the majority of it is going to remain the same. But here's some items you might want to specifically prep for Stellar Saphir. The weapon core type that will be used is the Swords core, the same one used for duelists, guards, and Starcallers. The Nazarene weapon will, sadly, require another Nazarene Horn of Power. I don't know why, I just really don't like grinding that one. It just seems to be the worst one to have to grind. The Zahir weapon will need Zahir's Unbreakable Spine. The level 45 weapon from Demarek will need Delicate Components and an Eternal Stone Heart, which is kind of interesting because both of those are field items, and usually those weapons require a gold dungeon drop as well, and it doesn't this time. I don't know what masteries for the class are going to be best, but the items you might want to prep if you are planning to get all of them are Sigil of the Aqua Dragon Queen, Power of the Ancients, and Flame Marks. The Flame Mark one appears to be a buff for one of the release buffs. It seems like it might be a really good one, so if you're looking at getting Flame Marks, that's from Pyroclastic Purgatory, and good luck because they are quite rare. So anyway, this entire class being dropped soon was a complete surprise. I think it's a welcome one. I'm really excited to see how the new class works, and if the timing works out, I'm planning to marathon leveling it as well, just like I did for the Nunchuck. I've got a name planned, and I've got some supplies left, and all that's left after that is hoping that it gets released on a week that I've got enough days off to actually be able to play. Again, I'm really hoping that they'll release a new class slot at the same time as the class this time, and if not, well, that Katari that I made when they added it just a couple weeks ago is gonna have to get deleted again. As usual, I like to end my videos with a little personal update. I know that the guide videos and Eidolon review shorts don't taste very well, but I like making them, so if I'll keep it up. I'm not great at YouTube, so I usually forget to say it, but even if you don't like what I'm making, please consider subscribing. My best friend has promised to take me out for dinner if I get to 1,000 subscribers, and I've already picked out a restaurant. Also, I've been making some really good progress on a short story I started writing this year, so I've been thinking about whether or not it might be fun to publish online as an audiobook on YouTube. I have some art that I commissioned that would be the background, but otherwise it would just be words and text, so I don't know if that's something that anyone would be interested in, but let me know. It's honestly completely unrelated to anything in games, but writing is one of my hobbies and I've been just too shy to share it for ever. And I was thinking now might be the time to get over it. So, that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope that we can see you soon with the new class in game.